Buddy. Today is November 6th, 2025. And just like yesterday, I still live with bipolar disorder. I woke up, I still had it. So I have bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features. That's my official diagnosis. That's what my paper says. So lately, I've been, well, over the past couple months and coming out of a manic episode, I have been trying to establish some sort of daily practice that will help ground myself and help me be aware even more of the disorder right now. I guess for me, the only thing I can attribute a lot of my current feelings and emotions and uh, thoughts, actions, it's all relates to my latest episode in some way. And the way that I handle it is I'm just trying to set a practice to handle it the correct way to move forward every day. So I think that some people, the way that people manage their disorder varies so differently from person to person. I mean, you can go a long time without even knowing you have it. So that's possible for some people. And once you become diagnosed, how you handle it is all dependent on the reason you were diagnosed. Were you down or up, or did you have a major episode? Did you go to the hospital? How long did the episode last? All of these things happen, and I'm still like weeding my way through it, and it takes a while. Maybe it doesn't take. Maybe some people think it doesn't. And for them it doesn't, but for me, it does. So one of the ways that we start the show the mood journal every day is a gratitude check-in where you can list whatever you're grateful for on that day. Um, I'm grateful for my family, for my wife and kids who understand that I have this illness, have accepted it, or are working on their own ways of accepting it. And it makes it easier for sure. I'm grateful to have a support system that is caring enough to understand the mistakes I made while ill and to help me moving forward, and to give me the space I need sometimes, or just to check in with me. That's really what I need a lot of the times, is somebody to check in and be like, how's it going? And somebody that knows what happens and knows my moods. So I am grateful for my wife and kids. I'm grateful for, um, you know, it, I got to go out and I had time to exercise. So it's good to be. That's one of the things that I also do to ground myself in this, is like go out and exercise. Now, when I was going through my manic episode, that become every time it became like this almost warrior like frickin' thing, as it escalated and spiraled up into mania. My runs and all that stuff would become like this tribal thing. And that's scary. And so using it as a, a tool to recover is hard to do, because you want to not get into that zone, but you also still want to get something out of what you're doing. And today I just didn't have the motivation, I didn't have the energy, and I just went on a walk. Um, I didn't let myself do that for a long time. I didn't let myself walk for a long time. Like I forced myself, no matter how I was feeling, you have to run, you know, 5 miles. I got into this OCD thing where I ran 5 miles a day for years, no matter how I felt. And those within those years is when I had episodes also. So, um, like anything, it's like for somebody with this illness, I have to be more aware of all of those things. Um, Exercising for somebody that doesn't have this is just exercising. Exercising for me, I got to be aware so I don't turn into some sort of Native American warrior like I thought last time. And, um, meditation for others is this helpful tool. For me, one of my delusions was it gets involved in this whole we're all connected, everything's connected, this oneness theory of the universe, which has its points, I guess, but it got too weird for me. So I got to be careful, even though mindfulness and meditation are a big part of the therapy, just like exercise. I got to check in with myself to make sure that I'm not taking those things too far. So I'm grateful for the day today that I got to just go on a walk and not push myself physically. The whole point was just to try to be like in the moment of walking, which is really hard to frickin' do. You know what I mean? It's like for me, it was just worried, am I being judged? Am I not doing enough? Am I good enough? That was what my run was filled with today. So, um, and I'm grateful for my older brother who, he'd check in every day. So he checked in earlier and we chatted for a while. We're going to jump into the daily mood journal. So, mood check. Today I'd rate my mood at, today I gotta give my mood, I'm kind of down. I'm going to go with a 4. And especially compared to yesterday. I had a lot going on yesterday with the psych appointment, the psychiatry appointment. I had a job interview for a peer support role, and I had to go get my blood work done for my medication test. And it was like, those 3 things, it was, maybe that's not a lot to a lot of people, but it got me kind of in a more purposeful mood. Like, here's these things I actually get to say I'm doing to improve myself. Sometimes you don't get to do that. Sometimes in your recovery, you don't have like a tangible thing you can point at, like, look, I told you I'm really trying. And so when I go to a doctor's appointment, or, when I um, take an action, I get to take an action to move forward with either having rec like, move forward with the disorder or move forward with just life in general in a way that's positive. Because a lot of the stuff just gets locked up, and so moving forward with a tangible thing like a job interview or a appointment makes you feel, at least for me, it got me a little bit ramped up yesterday. And so now I'm in the part where I, kinda worried about the interview after it all day yesterday. Did I say too much? Did I say the right stuff? Um, do they is it something I really want? Is it something I'm capable of doing? Um, things that you should be like, I don't wanna get too attached to the job. People are like, "Well, why would you interview if you have all these questions?" Like, I'm gonna have these questions no matter what. I'll have them forever. That's just how my brain works. I don't know. I've not had a moment yet where it wasn't always something like that. Especially with the unknown when I'm dealing with work that I've never done before. So I hope I came across good, but because I don't know how the process is going to play out, I'm just worried about it, and I think that sinks me down. So I feel my mood level today is probably like a 4, and That's out of 10. So that's pretty good, you know. I'm trying to go for a 5. You don't wanna go to when you have been I think, like, 7 and higher is something I gotta look out for. So, you want a 5. Today I'm a 4. My energy is like a 3 or a 2. I don't know if I used too much yesterday. I am on a couple medications that have quite a bit to do with, like, making you feel down and tired, having no energy and muscle weakness. Those are all side effects of some of the medication I'm on. So it's not completely abnormal that I'm feeling low. Um, but that's also what the blood test was yesterday that I took, was to determine if maybe something else is going on, because it could be that I have a something going on with, like, liver things or white blood cells, or so they're checking a few things to make sure that the medication is processing through my liver correctly, number 1, and number 2, if something's going on with me making me feel more lethargic than I should. Um, what's up, buddy? You're feeling high. I got a comment here. Yeah, dude, be careful with that. Those are, I mean, depending on if you're joking or maybe you're just feeling high, but if you're spiraling up, that's where I got in the most trouble, is on my manias. So a lot of this whole journals to keep me from going up there to feel high. So, like I said, a 5's a good place, and I feel pretty good at a 4 today. Um, so one of the topics that we wanted to talk about today was family acceptance, and it's because although I'm grateful for my wife and kids sticking with me and learning with me and growing with me as I go through this journey of bipolar disorder, I can't say that for everyone, which everyone in my family. And the crappy part is it's the ones, you know, I had it I lost, connection with because of my manic episode with my dad and his wife, and there's like boundaries had to be set between us before I went manic, or it helped spiral up. It really caused, it was really a big part of my last episode, was like breaking up with the family business and knowing that maybe the stress that my own dad's way of living and way of operating was putting on me, and he wasn't willing to change, and I had to walk away, and that boundary was one that, it's like this loyalty thing that had to be broken too. So it's but the part that sucks is they should be separate things, you know? What's up, man? They should be my relationship and my career in a healthy way, it should be like a separate deal. But that's where we're at. We don't really have a healthy relationship. And so I had went part of my manic episode happened in front of my dad again. I know it's embarrassing to see it and to be a part of that. So I feel guilty that it happened, but at the same time, if anyone should, I thought, would forgive me for my behavior while ill, it would be him. And instead, it seems like it's the opposite. Like it gets held against me. Like I should have been able to control it or something. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And that's what this mood journal does, is help me control it, ground me back in today, and remind me. But I wasn't doing a mood journal then, and I don't think I had the right medication back on the last one. I just didn't, and we didn't necessarily know because I went into such a deep depression after a, a, a manic episode, over a year ago. Then I fell into this deep depression, and I think everyone was just trying to get me out of that. Well, we didn't know that I would cycle up so quickly. So it's sad because it upsets my wife because she needs all the different support that she can get. So it's like sometimes I feel like she must seem like her family's the one that's really taking over kind of responsibility of keeping an eye on me. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on her that doesn't she doesn't think is fair because why wouldn't my own family be more involved? And like I said, my older brother, but he's good for um, offering some support, but I don't. And I've have one sister that's been pretty close throughout all this, but I just don't think they know what to say. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it, and so rather than learning how to deal with me, they've kind of written me off or are hoping that I get better on my own and they don't want to be involved. And I can't make them. I don't it I try not to let it be another thing that pulls me down. I try to be like, I really hope they contact me today, but there's also a part where and I've reached out to them on different ways since manic, if that makes sense. Because when you go have a manic episode, you sometimes have to have this apology tour that happens after, or you got to go have a bunch of lunches, bunches of lunches with a bunch of people to kind of reassure them that you're not in the episode anymore. And I've pretty much done all that. And so now it's like, are they scared of me? Are they scared for me? Do they not want to be around me? Am I overthinking it? I don't know. But it does seem like certain people have just moved on without us or left us to be where we're at with the and it just sucks because you wouldn't have thought it happened. So I'm not I don't know how you handle those emotions of family that doesn't want to be with you after you've been diagnosed or after you've had a major episode. I think you just have to do what's best for yourself. So if it puts a lot of stress on you, if there's a relationship that you got to kind of let the person know where you're at and what you need, and if they can't deal with that, then you can't sometimes people just can't accept the fact that you have conditions now. And maybe your condition is that, hey man, I can't talk about that cuz that stresses me out and I get spiraling. I don't want to go there. Whatever. So, I don't know. Hopefully you guys all have terrific relationships with everyone that you're around, including your family, and even after your episodes, they've supported you through it and will do it for as long as it takes to make sure that you get better because that's all that matters. I hope that that's where you're at. So let's close the show as we always do with affirmations. My illness does not define me, and neither does my family's understanding of it. Acceptance is a journey, and every small step counts. I am worthy of love and understanding, even when I'm still learning to understand myself. My family and I can grow through this, not apart from it. And today I choose compassion for myself and for those still learning how to love me through this. So I'll take that, you know. You want just leave. We talked about compassion before. I think it's a good thing to go out on. So we did our gratitude check in, we did our daily mood journal, we talked a little bit about family, and we ended in affirmations. Um, that's the show, everybody. So be grateful, first off, for everything you do have. And even if that's something like, a fountain drink, just be grateful. And then that'll rewire your brain. Be grateful for the family you do have left, and be compassionate to those who aren't there yet. So, with that being said, have an okay day. Don't let your meatloaf be good to yourself.